Hello and welcome back to Jazzonomics. This is a very early morning edition. I think it's coming up to 5 o'clock on Saturday morning. I've been awake since 1:15 and decided to drag myself out of my pit just after 3 o'clock this morning. This week in my world has been incredibly eventful and it hasn't ended yet. I put a job lot of Mosaic box sets on eBay this week. I'm going to talk figures here. Some of you may think it's vulgar, but I know you want to know. I bought them. There were 8 Mosaic box sets. This is the one that I'm going to keep. This is a bit of a rerun of an old video that I did, but this is the one that I'm going to keep, the complete Atlantic recordings of the modern jazz quartet. For future reference, there are probably, I think there are 15 studio albums in here on, I think, seven CDs. That's one that I'm going to keep, and there's one that I haven't sold yet because it is, one's going to fall over, because it is incomplete, although it does contain 8 CDs rather than the regulation 7. So it's a bargain and not a bargain at the same time. I think discs 3 and 4 appear twice and disc 7 is missing. So this is on eBay at the moment for a heavily discounted price. I sold 6 of these Mosaic box sets. I spent £60 and about £10 to get them delivered. Initially, I listed them individually on eBay at a buy it now price. There were a handful of people were watching each one, but nobody was putting any bids in, and I haven't got a great deal of patience. So what I decided to do was put all 6 together in one job lot, and I think I probably started the bidding round about, this was probably slightly ambitious, round about the £600 mark. There were no takers for that, and I'm not one to leave things sitting on eBay for a long time, because I haven't got the patience for that. I'd rather get an item in, sell it for a reasonable profit, and then move on. Whereas you see some people on eBay, there's one lot in particular, I think there's a Miles Davis lot of a fair amount of CDs, but it's starting at round about £40, or they want £40 for it. It has been on there for as long as I can remember. I do think half the price, get it sold, move on, because nobody is buying those CDs at that price unless they've had a significant head injury. Where was I going with this? Oh yes, so decided to put them all together. Started off around about the £600 mark, and then I gradually reduced it. And then I had a starting bid. My starting bid was round about £425. One seller, stroke dealer, sent me a message and he said, you know, he'd made an offer, but it was declined. And he said, would I take an offer on these? Or rather, I asked him what he would be prepared to offer for these. He offered me the rather derisory sum of £200. I told him that I knew he was a dealer, which I don't mind as long as they're willing to put their hand in the pocket and pay a fair price. I know I've tried it on more than one occasion, and he also came back with another request asking how much I would accept for them. And I said at the moment I'm in no rush to sell them, and I think that £425 is a very good price. That's way below market value, and one of the Duke Ellington box sets, you're probably going to be lucky to pick that up for £180, probably considerably more, because they don't really seem to come up very often in the UK. So anyway, we're on for £425, and I had a message from another smallish dealer seller on eBay, and we hammered out a figure, and I sold those and posted them, and I sold them for £405. He was happy with that, and if he can sell them on at a profit, then I'm more than pleased with what I receive for them, because I only, I know the game that we play. I'm a little further down the food chain than some of the slightly bigger sellers on eBay. I could have hung on and got another £100, possibly £200, maybe even more. But frankly, I haven't got the patience and I'm not that interested. Moving on to another thing from the job lot that I bought for £60 that I am keeping, that I sort of skimmed over very quickly in my last video talking about the Mosaic box sets. There's this set here, and it is it's quite lovely. Duke Ellington, the Complete Columbia Studio Albums Collection 51 to 58. There are 9 albums here. Really lovely packaging. There are some significant liner notes, and there are Ellington Indigos, and it's sort of like a bit of a mock-up of the original LP, possibly. Masterpieces by Ellington, Balmask, the Cosmic Scene, which I do have on a single CD. I might sell that. And another one that I also have on a single CD is Ellington Uptown, but this one probably doesn't contain the bonus tracks. In fact, looking at the back here, it doesn't. Blue Rose, A Drum is a Woman, Such Sweet Thunder. I really like the front cover on this album. Another one that I have in a single CD format, and Black, Brown and Beige featuring Mahalia Jackson. Lovely thing that, and that came in the £60 job lot, something that I'm keeping. Whether I'll listen to it or not, I'm not quite sure, but it is a it either has to be, there was a designer that once said something has to be useful or beautiful. You know, that's quite a beautiful thing. Barely been touched. I shall keep that. And talking of something else, I mean, it's not in the jazz field at all that is quite attractive. I paid 10p for it. I've never listened to it. I'm probably not going to listen to it. And it's this. It's John Barry Revisited. 4 CDs in here. I'll show you them now. Quite an attractive thing. We have Elizabeth Taylor in London, 4 in the Morning, Zulu, and the John Barry Plays 007, the Ember Singles Plus, and there's, there are liner notes in here, and there's quite a nice little poster there. Yes, 10p. Bought it ages ago, never listened to it, probably not going to listen to it, but it's a lovely thing nevertheless. It's been an eventful week. There was the selling here, and then I phoned my parents up the other day, and I'm a big fan of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I haven't been to a Tottenham game for over 20 years. Well, certainly since I've been in Wales. It's too much travelling involved, too much expense, and I'd rather watch it on the telly. But Dad is a season ticket holder at Tamworth FC. He got it. Tottenham are playing Tamworth tomorrow at 12:30. It's at Tamworth's ground. It's the biggest game in Tamworth's history, and Dad has managed to secure me a ticket. My brother is going. I'm meeting Mr. The Sound of Music, Peter Clark, there. If you watched the previous video, you'll know who I'm talking about. When he was a boy, he was obsessed with watching The Sound of Music and would rather watch that than come out and kick a ball about or play on his bike. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur, I'm not one for, as I've said before, excitement or frivolous purchases, but you may be able to see this picture in the background here, this print that I bought from Foot Ballista. I bought it about 18 months ago now. I paid, I think it was about £22. Like I say, quite a frivolous purchase in my world, and it is heavily inspired by Blue Note album covers. I will show you it here. It's one about Glenn Hoddle, one of the one of the things in my life that I've been obsessed by. Glenn Hoddle, Blue Note Records, and this could only be more perfect if there was a dog featured on the front cover, but there isn't one. So yes, Footballista. They sell an awful lot of Tottenham Hotspur prints, t-shirts, posters, not just Tottenham. I know there are prints of George Best, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough. Who else is there? Jose Mourinho. I think this is incredibly well done. And if you know your Blue Note record covers, you will see how heavily inspired they are by them. This one in the bottom corner here is, I think it's heavily influenced by Donald Byrd's New Perspective. This one here influenced a little by Kenny Dorham's Una Mas, but more likely to have been influenced by this, Art Blakey's Freedom Rider. This one here has been influenced heavily by Horace Parlan, Speaking My Piece. I'm not quite sure whether you can make that out there. It's a rather small picture on this box set that I bought for about £8. And the one in the top corner here is more or less a parody, a pastiche, what's the word I'm looking for? A tribute to Jackie McLean's Let Freedom Ring, I think. This one here, I can't quite place that, but I do know it, but I know it's an album I don't have. And this one here, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I am off to the Midlands tomorrow to watch the mighty Tottenham Hotspur playing Tamworth at the Lamb. Kick-off is 12:30, and in fairness, it sent me a bit mental. I haven't really slept much overnight. I probably won't be sleeping much this evening. It will be this evening. I'll be leaving West Wales round about, probably, I'm saying 5 o'clock, but probably more likely 4 o'clock. It might even be earlier than that. Gates open at 10:30. I can't wait. It's the most excited I've been in years. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please like, share and subscribe. This was Jazzonomics. Come on, you Spurs.